In this worksheet called formulas, there are lots of formulas. And it's very difficult sometimes when you're trying to check the impact of changing a cell. After looking at this for a few minutes, you might determine that cell B3 is pretty important because you've already found a few formulas that relate to it. If we change B3, which other cells will change? It's going to take us a lot of manual labor to get there unless we have these keystroke shortcuts or techniques to get there. And we've got both for this particular feature. First of all, if we want to find the cells that depend upon B3, after selecting B3, we can simply press Control-Shift right bracket. It highlights all cells that have formulas that either directly or indirectly refer back to cell B3. Now, if you want to keep the cells indicated by their highlighting, we need to add a colors, because if we click anywhere, they will be unselected. So possibly, and you don't necessarily need to do this, but possibly you can go to the Font tab, click the drop arrow for the Fill Color bucket, apply color. So we know from now on, at least for the moment, until we write new formulas maybe or erase these, that the cells that have this color are dependent on cell B3. Now, a more visual way to do this, and also with an added advantage, although it's lengthier, is to use the features available on the Formulas tab in the ribbon. With B3 being the active cell, we can trace dependence. Now, when you first click this, you might be surprised that it's not highlighting all of the cells that have a dependency on B3, only the ones that directly refer back to B3 in formulas. But these cells that have formulas might be referred to by other cells by way of formulas and ultimately back to cell B3. So let's keep clicking Trace Dependence. If you have your speaker on, you'll hear a beep at some point. It's also possible that some of these dependencies, and that's the case here, have a reference to another worksheet. So zooming in on this part of the worksheet here, using Control with the mouse wheel, and then sliding over a bit, we see the icon for a different sheet. And here's a dashed line. It's kind of tricky to see here. We'll double-click the dashed line. What does that tell us? We have a dependency on another worksheet called AutoSum, cell A22. We can double-click this. It'll take us right to cell A22 on the different worksheet. There it is right there. This will also track dependencies to other workbooks that are open that have similar kinds of formulas. So here we are on cell A22 in a different worksheet called AutoSum. Double-click, what do we see? Here's the actual formula that says what? Get data from cell F11 from the formulas sheet. This cell has a dependency ultimately on cell B3 in the other worksheet. Let's go back to the formulas worksheet. So zooming back again and recognizing what we see, all these cells that have blue arrows or blue dots in them have a dependency on B3. Remember, earlier we saw that simply by pressing Control-Shift right bracket, but Control-Shift right bracket doesn't show any references to different sheets. That's its one deficiency. It certainly is faster. But in any case, the ability to do this quickly and easily is a great tool, because sometimes in complex worksheets, the alternate way, doing this manually, would be almost unthinkable.